For more reviews like this, subscribe to Film Companion and check out our website filmcompanion.in. If the Ayushmann Khurrana subgenre of broad-stroke social messaging movies and the Rajkumar Hirani subgenre of feel-good smiling through tears movies had a baby, it would be Jayeshbhai Jordaar. Debutant writer-director Divyang Thakkar creates a sanitized, amiable, sometimes bordering on farcical but always heartfelt saga of a closet feminist who decides to rebel against his awful, overbearing Sarpanch father and protect his wife and unborn daughter. The story is set in Praveengarh, a fictitious hamlet in Gujarat ruled by the Sarpanch, who is such a Neanderthal that when a young girl complains that boys are harassing her, he orders the women in the village to stop bathing with soap because obviously when women smell fresh, men lose control. The Sarpanch's wife isn't much better. She prays obsessively that Jayesh's wife Mudra will deliver a son. Their first child Siddhi is a girl who she has little affection for. In one scene, she looks at Siddhi and says, "Ghagra paltan nahi chahiye." So when Jayesh finds out that Mudra is going to deliver a girl again, he has no choice but to run away. Jayesh and Mudra become perhaps Hindi cinema's first couple to elope after marriage and with 2 children, one still a fetus. In this village of toxic men, Jayesh is an anomaly. He has little interest in the power ki parampara which his family dabbles in. When required, he adopts the posturing of mardangi. In one scene, he pretend beats his wife. But actually, Jayesh is timid and terrified of crossing his father, who bullies and berates everyone around him. In short, Jayesh is the polar opposite of Ram from Goliyon Ki Ras Leela Ram Leela, the last time Ranveer Singh played a Gujarati character. In that film, when Ram, whose oiled, muscled chest is frequently on display, is asked about his mardangi, he cockily replies, "मेरी मर्दानगी के बारे में आप गांव की किसी भी लड़की से पूछ सकते हो मेघजी भाई, रिपोर्ट अच्छी ही मिलेगी." By contrast, Jayesh is the sort of undemanding soul who after several years of marriage hasn't even summoned the courage to properly kiss his wife. The miracle is that Ranveer is equally terrific in both. With a Chaplin-esque moustache and tremulous manner, Ranveer co-creates a character who is loving and lovable. His accent is specific without being caricaturish, and his pliant body language suggests Jayesh's gentle temperament. The film shifts tonality between broad comedy, high emotion, and doses of suspense. The Sarpanch and his goons are in hot pursuit of Jayesh and his family. These sharp narrative swerves don't necessarily work. There is an outlandish thread about a Haryanvi village where prenatal testing and female infanticide has killed off almost all the women, and the men have understood the inherent tragedy of this. But even when the storytelling gets sloppy, Ranveer doesn't. In one of the film's most moving scenes, Jayesh delivers a stirring speech about the importance of compassion and affection between men and women. He and the village women weep together, almost as though they were weeping not just for themselves, but for women everywhere, and also for men who are equally stunted by toxic patriarchy. Jayesh obviously doesn't buy into the dictum that men don't cry. Divyang and his additional screenplay writer, Anupama Chopra, never let the narrative get dark. The Sarpanch threatens his daughter-in-law. At one point, she and her daughter accept a lift, which in another movie and in life could get nasty quickly. But Divyang and this film keep the rose-tinted glasses on. Jayeshbhai Jordaar makes a larger plea not just for gender equality, but also for letting go of superstition and to stop judging people by appearances. Even a black cat gets a moment. The seriousness of the issues at hand is constantly punctured by humor, which sometimes lands and sometimes doesn't. In the most dire situations, Divyang tries to insert a smile. In one scene, a desperate Jayesh decides that the only way to save his family is by threatening to castrate himself. Because the idea that the family name might not be carried forward by a male heir is really the only thing that terrifies his father. Boman Irani skillfully walks the tightrope between the many tones of this film. There are moments in which he's actually frightening, but also others in which he's a punchline. Shalini Pandey as the beleaguered Bahu delivers a combination of subservience and wholesomeness. There's a lovely moment in which Mudra hesitantly remarks that their freedom feels good. There's also Jia Vaidya, solid as Siddhi, the feisty daughter, and Ratna Pathak Shah as Jayesh's acerbic mother. Her arc has an unconvincing suddenness to it, But somehow Ratna makes it work. Stray bits in the film reminded me of Mirch Masala, an iconic women empowerment film also set in Gujarat and also featuring Ratna. But Divyang isn't going for that sort of tough take here. He is creating an overtly convenient fairy tale. Jayeshbhai Jordaar is a crowd pleaser which urges us with a sort of bumbling sincerity and sweetness toward a more equal world. I'll take it.